Hello everybody, it's Mark Mazzatenta. Thank you for joining me. If you're a fan of composition and harmony, like I am, you're going to like this video because we're going to take a look at a piece that is a masterpiece in both of those areas. And it comes from this recording by Metheny, and the song is called Then and Now. And there's Pat with his band. Okay, so I've got a score that I'll be referencing, and I'll put it down below so you can have a copy to look at. The piece is in 3 parts. There's an intro with an A section, which also has a B part to it. The C section is a bass melody, and the D section is what I call the hook. It's the only part of the song where the melody repeats itself many times. And in fact, I love this song so much that it literally keeps me up at night when I'm trying to go to bed. I'm hearing that very catchy melody from this song. All right, so I'm just going to play the first part of the song, and then I'll talk about the harmony, the voicings that he's using. And I think you'll be a little bit surprised at what he does. So here's the beginning of the song. It's this little free intro. And then here's the melody with the guitar and sax. Where we get our first arrival point on an E flat minor chord. So that very first chord is a pretty odd choice for the start of a song, or even just a regular kind of guitar voicing. So this is what he played. Okay, that opening chord was a C chord, but it's really disguised because there's an E in the bass, and there's a sharp 4 as the melody note. So that's pretty unusual to have a sharp 4 scale degree being in the melody. But Pat, as per usual, can make anything work. And I'm just guessing that he latched onto this particular voicing and then decided to make a composition out of it. So as you move this voicing up the neck, it ends up looking like this shape. Okay, so I have circled all the sharp 4 melody notes in red. Look at that. That is very, very unusual. So that top note of that voicing is the sharp 4. Right, and I can move it around. So that's a pretty peculiar, little bit dissonant chord, but he makes a beautiful melody out of that. The other thing that I've indicated on the score, I've circled all the chords with that green box that are slash chords. Look at all of those. Almost every chord in the song is a slash chord. Look at that as I scroll. That is very unusual, okay? So a slash chord just means that the chord that you're playing does not have the root in the bass. It's got either another chord tone, like the 3rd or the 5th, or it has a completely non-chord tone as the bass note. That's what a slash chord is. But to have that many in a row is very unusual. Okay, now the intro I could just say, well, there's an E pedal going on. You have a C chord, E major 7, C with that sharp 4, E major 7, F major 7, sharp 4, D flat. I've still got this E in the bass, that's why I'm calling it a pedal tone. B flat, and then an F sharp minor. Okay. Now, most of the chords that are slash chords have the third in the bass. So for instance, if you have a D chord, you're going to see that there's an F sharp in the bass most of the time. Or if you have a G chord, you're going to have a B in the bass. And what that does, here's a D with a F sharp in the bass. It just softens the chord. You're not hearing root position, but you're hearing this, which really softens things up. So let me continue playing the song a little bit, and then we'll talk about how unusual this chord progression is. So we just got to the end of the B section, where we arrived on E flat minor, and now here's the bass melody. Just beautiful. And we end up on a C sharp 7, which will lead to F sharp minor. So the first time we get a 5-to-1 is right before that bass melody, and it's softened. It's that arrival on E flat minor, but you don't hear root position B flat 7. You hear a first inversion B flat, which softens that and disguises it a little bit. The only root position 5-1 that we get is right there going into that hook at section D, where we have a C sharp sus, C sharp 7, so we have a 5-to-1. That's the only time we get something kind of normal that happens in the typical song. But this is not the typical song. So now let me play that hook, which keeps me up at night because it's so singable and it just gets in your ear. Here's the melody of that section. Which then Pat solos through until that hook area. All right, so now I had to play some of those chords up high because I was playing the melody as well, but listen to that section D, that hook part. Listen to the bass, it goes like this. Half step descending like that, and then you arrive on this A. Now you expect that A to go to a D chord, like a 5, 1, and D, but you don't get that. You get the F sharp in the bass, but you get an F sharp minor chord, which delays any kind of arrival point. So that D section hook is this loop that just smoothly circles around the whole time. Now listen the melody that he put along to those chords. And the sax solos over those changes. And during the sax solo, he actually plays the melody during his solo because it's so great. Now to get out of it, they go to that extension. Right here. And then Pat just plays it out with this E pedal again. That's the chord he ends on, which is an E5, just like an E power chord, with an F sharp in there, which is the second. So I guess it's E add 2, but there's no third telling you if it's major or minor. So it's just kind of this neutral E something. So the interesting thing is that most songs start on a keynote chord and end on that same keynote chord. Well, this ended on an E something, but was the song in the key of E? No. There are hints, some arrival points, one on E flat minor, but it's not in that key. The hook had an arrival where it started on F sharp minor, but is the song in F sharp minor? No, you didn't hear, you know, something like that. So it's this kind of snaky, beautiful looping composition that uses chord inversions and these interesting sharp fours in the melody to create this beautiful song. So it's definitely outside the normal kind of thing. So it's one that you should take a look at, listen to it, enjoy the beauty and the soloing, and then check out the score that I'll attach in the bottom here. And thank you for joining me. I hope you learned a little bit about compositional structure and some beautiful harmonies on the guitar. And I will see you at the next video.